Sound check. Hello, hello, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday with Sarah May. I am your host, Sarah May. I am a life coach. I am an energy healer, and I'm the founder and instructor of Empowered Empaths Academy. It is my goal to help as many people as possible, as many empaths as possible, awaken to their most authentic and true self, awaken to their inner light so they can live their best lives based in unconditional love and filled with lasting happiness. As part of that goal, every week I come live on Facebook and I share some of my wisdom with everybody who is there to be shared with. And in order to spread this wisdom with even more people, we have expanded this year and we are now posting the replays on YouTube. So if you know anybody who could benefit from this, or if you want to watch the replays, you can do so in the Empaths Awakening Facebook group, and you can also do so on YouTube. So it's not only available to those people who are on Facebook anymore. It's now available to anybody on the World Wide Web. So thank you so much for doing your part to spread the light by letting anyone who you feel could benefit from this work know about it. We just wrapped up Self-Love Summer, 90 days of getting to know ourselves, getting to love ourselves, starting to understand and meet our own needs, starting to understand our values, learning how to be able to look in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself. The self-love journey is a big one, and it's not one that you complete in 3 months. It's one that you will be working on and be riding on and walking on for the rest of your life. As a continuation of Self-Love Summer, we are now entering into Shadow Work September. Shadow Work September. To truly love yourself, you need to love all parts of yourself, even the parts that we've hidden away. This is why we are doing Shadow Work September, so we can really start diving in to all the parts of ourselves and loving each and every bit of ourselves. Because the more that we embrace ourselves, the more that we love ourselves, the more we're able to align with that vibration of unconditional love. As part of Shadow Work September, you might have already noticed shadow work prompts being posted. We are going to be every day on the Healing with Sarah May Facebook page. I will be posting a different shadow work prompt. I strongly encourage you to spend some time reflecting on this question, and please journal with it as well. If you really want to get the most out of this, I highly recommend journaling with it. And even if you feel like you don't have an answer, just write out the question in your journal. Just ask the question out loud, because once you ask the question, your subconscious is going to start looking for the answer. So even if you look at these prompts and you're like, well, I don't really know, I don't really even understand that, I don't resonate with that, just ask yourself the question. And just asking yourself the question starts this shadow work process. Also, in addition to the daily ones that I will be posting on Instagram and on Healing with Sarah Mae on the main public pages. In the Empath Awakening Facebook group. This is exclusive to that Facebook group. On Sundays, I am going to be, for our weekly card draw, I'm going to be drawing these shadow work questions. So if you want your own personal shadow work prompt for you to focus on during the week, you can absolutely get that in the Empath Awakening Facebook group. If you didn't see Sunday's post, and you're seeing this now and you want to hop on there and comment on there, I think the comment is, I'm ready to start asking myself these questions. I'm ready to start diving into myself. Type I'm ready in there, and I, in the next couple days, will get you your own shadow work prompt for this week. But yeah, so this is going to be a really interactive way that I will be giving you guys all different shadow work prompts for you to work on with yourself. You can share in the group if you want to, your answers. You can journal it, whatever you're comfortable with, but these shadow work prompts will be available to you. So let's start off with talking about what is the shadow, right? Maybe you've been listening to me talk for the last 6 minutes and you keep hearing me say shadow, shadow, shadow. You don't even know what I'm talking about. There's a very real possibility that you are new to shadow work and this is your first exposure. And if you are, I'm so honored to be the one to introduce this to you. It's such an amazing thing to learn about ourselves and something so important for self-awareness. So let's get started with, what is the shadow? The concept of the shadow was first developed by Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung. Jung believed that exploring the shadow was essential for personal growth and individuation, the process of becoming one's authentic self. The shadow refers to the unconscious parts of our psyche that contain our repressed thoughts, feelings, and impulses. It is the side of ourselves that we reject or hide from others, and often from ourselves. However, these repressed aspects of ourselves can still influence our behavior and our emotional states. They also influence every single aspect of your life, whether you realize it or not. Your shadow is there, and your shadow is and your shadow is influencing your life. When we are developing as human beings, when we are born into this world, we have discussed this before. We have discussed this during Self-Love Summer. When we are born into this world, we need other people to survive. We are born into a tribe, and we need to be accepted. We need to be loved. We need to be cared for in order to survive. And so we start noticing things in life that aren't accepted, especially empaths. We notice what things make us good and what things make us bad. This starts as early as infancy, right? As early as infancy. Think about it. How many times have you heard somebody say, oh, they're such a good baby, they never cry, right? Saying that, the baby hears that, and they know that being good is associated with not crying. These little micro influences lead us to developing shadows and masks. The shadows are the parts of ourselves that we tuck away and we don't show other people, we don't lean into, because we are worried that they might lead to us being rejected from the pack and ultimately dying. That's what our little baby brains think, is that we're going to die if we are rejected by this family. We need to be accepted. So we shove away the parts of ourselves that we don't feel are going to be accepted. And then we put on a mask. We develop a persona of what we feel will be accepted. So these are two things that we do as a survival mechanism, because we need to be accepted, we need to be loved, and this is what we do to keep ourselves safe as little human beings. This this survival technique is actually an act of self-rejection and abandonment. The reason that our shadow has mostly negative traits and low vibe themes is because we are most likely to hide the parts of ourselves that we consider negative. But this isn't all true, and it's not even mostly true. We often hide amazing parts of ourselves. We often hide amazing aspects of ourselves and have them hidden in the shadows. Yeah, we are more likely to conceal things like jealousy or anger than pride, but there are those that are taught to be prideful is something that is shameful. We hear things like girls should be seen and not heard. Consider the young girl with amazing leadership skills, shame for being bossy and talking too much, who then retreats into herself and puts on a mask of shyness and insecurity. The smart girl who gets teased for being intelligent, so then hides her intelligence and puts on a silly ditzy girl routine to be accepted. Being told that boys don't cry, being shamed for being anger. All these things teach us to hide parts of ourselves, which is how the shadow gets created. So now that we know where the term shadow work came from, what the shadow is, and how it gets created, let's talk a little bit about what is shadow work. Shadow work involves exploring these unconscious aspects of self in a safe, controlled environment. This can include journaling, meditation, therapy, working with a spiritual guide or coach. The goal of shadow work is to bring the unconscious into the conscious and then integrate it into our lives, taking all the parts of you and accepting all the parts of you. By doing this, we can gain a greater understanding of our motivations, reactions, and behavior and make changes to live more authentic lives. We all have multiple parts to ourselves, and if we don't embrace the entirety of our being, we won't be able to live a whole and authentic life. The process of integrating the shadow leads to self-acceptance, forgiveness, and unconditional love. You will never feel unconditionally loved if you are repressing parts of yourself. When you repress a part of yourself, no matter how much somebody loves you or they show you that they love you, you have this part of you that you're hiding. So you're thinking, yeah, you love me, but you wouldn't love me if you knew XYZ. And the way that I know that part of you thinks that is because you continue to hide that part of yourself. So in order to achieve this state of living in a life that is authentic and based in unconditional love, it is essential that we do this shadow work. So, what is shadow work like? Shadow work is like finding the missing pieces of yourself and putting them back. So many of us walk around feeling like part of us is missing, feeling like there's a hole in our heart or a hole in our stomach. If you've ever felt this way, throw up some hearts, put some hearts in the comments, show yourself some love, show those parts of you that are missing some love, right? Shadow work is putting those pieces back. Shadow work is integrating that inner child and giving her the love she needs, calling her out of her bedroom and into your arms. Shadow work is calling back your birds. When I was doing this, when I was formulating this shadow work Wisdom Wednesday, when I was formulating the master class that goes with this, the message that I received from my guides was bring back your birds, call back your birds so you can reclaim your wings. That's what they said to me. Shadow work is what we do to consciously bring forth the unconscious. Shadow work can be painful because self-awareness does not come naturally to those of us that are used to avoiding pain, because we become aware of aspects of ourselves that we did not want to face. But there's emptiness where those missing parts were. And the key to living a conscious and aware life, the key to true freedom and lasting happiness, is bringing back these parts. So the message that I was given, again, it was call back your bird so you can reclaim your wings. Shadow work is a term used to describe any process that calls back the parts of yourself that you hid, anything that brings the subconscious and makes it conscious and brings it back into your life. The more aware you are of your shadow, the more embodied you will be as a conscious being. No one has ever reached enlightenment without first confronting their shadow. It just does not happen. You can't just zip to the top without ignoring everything else. You can't do that. So shadow work is the act of bringing attention and love to the parts of self that have previously been rejected. And it's my opinion, the most ultimate act of self-love, which is why we are focusing on it this month, the whole month, and right after self-love summer, because we just learned how to love ourselves. And now we're going to do it. We're going to get into it and actually do it. Okay. And calling back yourself can be as easy, and it can start off as easy as just saying out loud, we can do this together. I call back all parts of myself across all time, space, and dimensions. I'll say that again so you can say it with me. Just saying that will start this shadow work process and let your shadows know that you're ready to start addressing them. You're ready to start seeing them. I call back all parts of myself across all time, space, and dimensions. Yes, just that starts the process. Now, I want you to know that when you are shadow works, oh, this is the message, right? Call back your birds and reclaim your wings. This is what we're doing when we're doing shadow works. We're calling back our birds and reclaiming our wings so we can fly, so we can be our ultimate self. It is important to know that when you do this work, you will be triggered. We cannot talk about shadow work without talking about being triggered. In psychology, a trigger is a stimulus that causes a painful memory to resurface. A trigger can be any sensory reminder of the traumatic event, a sound, a sight, a smell, a physical sensation, or even a time, a day, or season. Have you ever caught yourself overreacting, pitched a fit over something small, or found yourself suddenly judging others? This happened is most likely because you were triggered. When we are triggered, when things happen in our lives that trigger us, we repress these. And when we start to call these parts out, we're going to have to face them. So please know that, yes, you are going to be triggered when you are doing this work. That is perfectly normal. Of course, make sure that you are always safe, safety first. But no, when you do this work, yes, you're going to face your triggers. You're going to look through that. The important thing to know about triggers is that triggers bring awareness. They let you know that something is there. And awareness is the first thing that you need. You cannot do anything without awareness, right? Have you ever known something? I know you have. You know when you know something and you're trying to tell somebody else and they don't believe you. They can't receive it. They are unaware. If you're not aware, if you're not awake to it, if you don't understand it, there's nothing to start with. You need that trigger, because trigger brings awareness, and awareness precedes change. Triggers are an opportunity to become aware. Awareness can happen on its own. It can be spontaneous. Like you suddenly hear something come out of your mouth and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I said that. That sounds terribly judgmental. Or that was actually kind of racist. Like, what the hell was that? Right? Like, who knows? You become aware of whatever is going on in your life. I can't believe I said that. Like, anytime that happens, you're being aware of something that's happening. You can also seek out awareness. You can look for it. You can be, where in my life am I being judgmental? Where in my life am I do I feel resentful? Where in my life am I hiding parts of myself? When I am around whom do I hide what, right? These are the things that we look for when we are looking for awareness and to create awareness. However, awareness happens, be it through a trigger, be it through spontaneous awareness, or you seeking it out. Awareness is the first step that you need to proceed change. I love this quote from Julia Cannon. The world around us acts as a mirror to show us what we need to work on for our personal soul growth. Such a beautiful, beautiful way to put all that stuff I was just saying about triggers. The world is a mirror that reflects your shadow. What annoys you in yourself and others? What do you have a soft spot for? What pulls at your heartstrings? What do you admire in others that you wish was true about yourself? All of these things can call forth parts of you that you have put away. Now, shadow work goes on and on throughout your life. This is the work, this is what we're doing. And a lot of people say, oh, it gets easier as you go along. And I don't think that's true. I think that it's always just as difficult. It's just that you get stronger. You get stronger, you get better at it. Practice makes confident. The more you practice it, the more you do it, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get better. So know that yes, at first it's very uncomfortable and it's hard to get through. But the more that you do this, the more parts of yourself that you release into your life, that you allow to be seen, that you integrate and you hold on to, the more repressed emotions that you process and let go, the more you go through your shadows, the more you are going to get used to that process, the stronger you're going to be and the easier it will seem to you because you have gotten stronger from this work. And I'm sure you've already seen this in your day-to-day life from your work that you've already done in life. You're here because you're doing work. I want you to know and always remember that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. You can enlist support. Yes, you can do this alone. You and a journal can do it. I love a guided journal. This is the guided journal I use. It's from Zenful Note. They are out of inventory right now. I would love to link you some stuff, but I don't have the one I want. They don't have anymore. But anyways, there are tons of guided journals that you could use. You could use a guided journal. You can use a blank notebook and do it yourself. But you don't have to do it alone. There are classes, there are friends, there are family members, there are therapists, spiritual teachers, Reiki practitioners, memberships you can join. There are so many things available out there. So if you don't want to do it alone, look for a way to get yourself some support. It's okay to need support. I said it earlier, safety first. If you're ever overly triggered, if it's ever too much, if it's ever overwhelming, or you feel like a danger to yourself, stop doing this work and get yourself some help and do some self-care and take care of yourself. There's a reason that we have been loving on ourselves for 3 months before we started really diving into this. Okay, so know that you don't have to do it alone. You can slow down at any time. Safety first. Everyone has been through this, and yes, it is much more helpful to go through it with a guide or a friend or someone who understands and has been there before. So don't feel ashamed to look for that person. I also want to mention that shadow work can be exhausting. It is called work for a reason. It is hard, guys. It is hard. It can be exhausting. It can cause physical illness. It can cause exhaustion. Don't be surprised if you have a really big revolution and then things start moving out of their body. If you have been holding on to repressed energy, repressed emotion about whatever it is that you were hiding for a long time, after a certain amount of time, that energy physically manifests in your body and it's physically being held in your body. When you let it go, it needs to physically move out of your body, and that's not always comfortable. So know that it's not unusual to get a cold or a flu or maybe some stomach upset when you're doing this work, or just to need some extra rest and extra TLC. Please be very gentle with yourself when you're doing this. When I'm working one-on-one with clients, there are two things that people say all the time, and it's so funny because they like contradict themselves. But one thing is, why isn't this going faster? Like, this process takes so long. And the other one is, oh my goodness, it's going too fast. Can you make it stop? It doesn't stop. You know, you don't need to go through it time and time and time again. We want, like, as human beings trained in the rat race and raised and grown in a slave wage society, we are taught that productivity, that moving faster, that getting it done is better. But that is not the case. Our life's work is ourselves. You have a lifetime to do this work. Take your time, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle, be loving. We just spent 3 months learning how to be loving on ourselves, learning to tell where our boundaries are. And if you're hitting a boundary, if you're doing enough, slow it down. That's okay. This can be exhausting and you deserve to be taken care of. A question I often receive about shadow work is shadow work going to interfere with my manifestation? When I'm manifesting something, right? So when we're manifesting, we want to be the vibration of what it is that we desire. So we create a magnetic field around ourselves that has no choice but to attract what it is we desire, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Same vibrations find each other. We want to put out the proper vibration of this thing that we want. So if I'm putting out happy, positive vibrations because I'm trying to manifest my best life based in unconditional love, filled with lasting happiness, my thoughts are best life, unconditional love, lasting happiness. What do you mean I'm supposed to go digging through this basement and looking at fear and shame and guilt and pulling out parts of me that I've been hiding? Like, isn't that going to mess up my best life, unconditional love, happy vibes? And the answer is absolutely not. These parts of your shadows, these repressed emotions, these things that we've hidden away and shoved away for later, are actually what's blocking that manifestation for you. The more that you let go of this, the closer and faster you're going to get to the manifestation. There is nothing that you can do to boost your manifestation more than making sure that your shadow work is done. So who's ready? That's the question, right? That's the question we're asking every Sunday in Impasse Awakening when we're doing the questions. Who is ready to start doing their shadow work, to start really looking at the parts of themselves that they've been tucking away, and yes, loving them too, integrating them back into their selves, letting go of the emotions you don't need to have, holding on to the parts of yourself that you've let go. Who is ready? Type I'm ready below. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I love it. Yes, I'm ready to always going deeper, always doing the work. Don't think we're any different. I'm doing it right here with you. And I too am ready. If you want to go deeper with this work, we do 3 master classes a month in Ascension Circle. We're going to be doing one next Monday where we're going deeper into what we talked about today and doing an actual workshop where we will be doing shadow work actively together. We do courses, meditations. We're always giving you tools in there. Ascension Circle is a membership community where you're going to be with other people who are also on their awakening path, and you'll have access to courses, meditations, and tools to guide you on your journey. There's a whole library filled with amazingness. You get the Kajabi app. It can all be on your phone. Super amazing. you feel called to join Ascension Circle, only $47 a month. You can cancel anytime, come and go as you feel called. We would love to have you there. This month, we are doing our fall equinox Reiki session. This is going to be a complimentary Reiki session. I love these remote Reiki sessions. I will be dropping the Eventbrite link for this soon, so you guys can register. You do need to register for this to get the link. These are amazing, amazing sessions. People are having wonderful results. We get together every month. We do a full remote Reiki session, customized and tailored to the group that registers, to everybody who is ever going to watch it. It is customized to you for that time, and it is a beautiful, beautiful experience. Very relaxing. You lay there and receive as I send out wonderful healing vibes, and we do that in community. It's a wonderful thing. And this month is one of the free sessions. So please make sure to register, sign up, and tell your friends. We want to spread this light to as many people as possible. Thank you guys all so much for being here today. Our session for today is complete. I appreciate you being here. If you feel called to work with me on a deeper level, I would absolutely love to work with you. If you want to talk about how we can do that, you can book a free breakthrough session anytime at www.healingwithsarahmay.com. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for doing this sacred work. When you do the work to raise your own vibration, you don't only raise your own vibration, but you raise the vibration of everyone around you, and in turn, you raise the vibration of the collective as a whole. It is my opinion that this is the most sacred work that any of us can do. And because of that, the light in me bows to the light in you. And so I say, namaste. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.